Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pride, Jonathan Charney, James, the Fat Man, Stevens.
Hello.
Rob, the old guy.
Hey, from the world famous Rob Charney Show. Sitting here in wonderful Northern California.
Oh my God, stop already.
Boiling to death and breathing smoke. And
special guest star host, give her the brownie points,
Heather.
It's Heather.
The queen of the understatement. So we're going to kick that understatement down a little bit more. One of everybody's favorite Star Trek actresses, Michelle Nichols, has dementia and is stuck in a conservatorship battle between a manager and her child.
Oh, hurrah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A breakthrough actress of the 60s. One of the reasons she actually stayed on Star Trek was because of Martin Luther King Jr. himself. Mm-hmm. Sad to hear. Didn't realize she was 88. I thought that kind of like shocked me because she 88 years old. She looks great.
Yeah. What a shame. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, it's funny. I just watched a show during Shark Week with William Shatner, who's almost 90 years old, who actually went down with Josh Gates of, Expedition Unknown fame, and they were actually diving with sharks, and he was diving at 90 years old. Looking great doing it. That's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I should only hope.
He comes from good stock.
And he didn't even get beaten down. He actually dove.
Wah, wah.
All right. For those of you who don't remember him.
So for y'all, this is going to be, by the way, a grab bag of topics. For y'all who build computers, I got a suggestion to stay away from a particular gigabyte power supply. It has a tendency to explode. 50% are DOA.
So it either is dead upon arrival and or it explodes once you run it. Great. Just what I want.
Gigabyte GP.
What is this crap again?
It's a power supply.
It's the Gigabyte GP P850GM and the GP P750GM power supplies are exploding. So Gigabyte has released a public statement addressing it. I'm assuming it's warning these will kill you.
Yeah, that would be good a label to put on the box. Warning, I'm either dead or I may explode on you. Good going, Gigabyte. Guess they won't be a sponsor.
Gamer Nexus has been buying. He's buying up the
Or they will be.
just like dude wipes.
Yeah, still want dude wipes. I just can't seem to.
See, I have
Never
the
mind.
perfect.
You gotta try harder.
No, see, you got to come up with a statement. The dude abides. The dude wipes.
Hey, you know. I don't
Maybe a demonstration?
know. Yeah, sure. This is radio. We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
No. All right.
So
Yeah, one ply. Dude wipe. Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Hey, James, that's great.
Perfect. James.
Perfect. Great idea.
well, I better pick a different story.
Yeah, you better go on. Let's move along.
Well, okay, this is at least. Quentin Tarantino mostly kept his promise never to give his mom a penny.
Yeah.
So when apparently, well,
I didn't hear the mom side of the story.
She's deflecting it a lot.
Is
Basically,
she's been a good mom.
Yeah, but basically,
Not to him, though.
The whole story
Not that I blame
basically
her.
said that when he was a kid, he was writing screenplays and stuff. And instead of encouraging him to do it, but doing it at a different time, she basically said, "No, none of this shit anymore." According to Tarantino, so he said, "Okay, if I make it big, you're not getting a dime." And during an interview, he said, "You know, she's not getting a house, no Cadillac money." He said, "I helped her out with an IRS thing once, but she's never gotten a dime from me." And there's a lot of people going, "That's not fair. She birthed you." And the greatest comment on that, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be careful in what you say to your kids. You need to encourage.
I don't know about that. Helped her out with an IRS issue. I like that. Maybe he was laundering money through her, and that's why he helped her out.
He had to get money to buy the pussy wagon."
Here, yeah, exactly. Here, Mom, take some of this money and launder it.
See,
take 15% and put the rest in my account.
There'll be no house for you. There's no vacation for you. No
There'll
Elvis.
be no house for you.
No Elvis Cadillac for mommy. You get nothing because you said that. His mom, from the stuff I've seen, basically hasn't bought into it. Basically, she's saying,
I wish this was television. You guys would have to see Heather's face.
It just sounds so... Are you peeing right now, James?
No, I'm filling up some water.
Oh, right.
Technically, both could be true at the same
so that I can
time.
give it to you.
It's his Crystal Geyser advertisement, kind of like
Yes.
my Perrier one.
Except it sounds like he's in the backwoods recording a Shikaki film or something.
Yeah, that's the advantage he has of being remote in this talk show. He makes funny noises. When he was drinking adult beverages, you'd hear him tinkling the ice in the spoon.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, Heather misses all the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You bet.
Super bummed.
I know, I can tell.
So they have Catherine Zeta-Jones and Louis Guzman are Morticia and Gomez.
Guzman.
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 Get it right.
Addams Family.
Guzman. That's who's on the new Addams Family movie.
Because unfortunately, every time I say it, I sound like I'm Jamaican because I say Guzman.
Oh, Lord.
So Catherine Zeta-Jones, an actress who everybody thought had hung up her acting chops, apparently is coming back from the Netflix series. They both have a very hard road to prove, both from the 60s and to my favorite being the 90s version. I don't know if
John Aston's still with us, right? I wonder
Yes.
I wonder how he feels about that.
Well, I mean, not even just like the
He probably
characters.
doesn't even care. He's probably too old.
Well, yeah.
But it's the styles, though. Because the 60s was that 60s campy, goofy, and the 90s one fit that 90s kind of thing very well. And
Vibe.
Yeah, and they're such different movies. I don't know what exactly that's a pretty hard thing, I think, to fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who's going to play Wednesday.
I haven't heard that one
And
yet.
Uncle Fester. And
I actually haven't heard any of that yet. Well, I'll have to see what comes up on that one.
who played Uncle Fester in the 90s was the guy that played Doc in Back to the Future.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He was really,
Yes.
he did really well.
His best role was Taxi Cab.
Oh, no. I thought.
No, Doc.
I really like Christopher Lloyd in just about anything. Though,
Yeah,
so
he
I'm-
is really funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what the world needs? Stringfellow Hawk needs to have his helicopter back. Airwolf reboot. The world's coolest helicopter should return.
Oh, Airwolf.
Boy.
Is this your own thought, John?
I actually loved the TV show Airhawk, so I would be.
So that was Jen Vincent Michael.
Yes.
Right? That poor guy had a real tough go after that. I mean, he always got unfortunately, a lot of bad press for that particular ill-fated TV show.
Which really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He did. It was at the time. It was, and then if you look at his life now and what happened to him after, it's pretty tragic.
He's dead.
Yeah. Well, besides being dead, which makes both things tragic, I'm talking about how poor his life actually was.
Wasn't he?
Going on.
Wasn't he a hardcore alcoholic?
Could have been. Not knowing him personally, I really don't know, but I do know following a little bit of his history. It was pretty sad, really.
Did you know he was in he was in the '60s Dragnet in one episode?
He was also in westerns, so yeah, I was aware of some of the stuff that he did. So,
By the way, another great TV show theme song. And this show could actually make it versus Knight Rider, where it's a talking car, and that's so 80s.
Oh, I love Knight Rider.
Yeah, but all the reboots have been awful.
I love the 80s.
it took me a moment to find it.
And we're going to get pulled right off of YouTube.
Yeah, it took a
Is
long
this a
time for you to
copyright
find that
thing
one.
happening right now?
No, I'm done.
Do you guys get copyright claims?
When I post our shoes to YouTube,
Oh,
it's a very good shoe. So
Sorry about that, but I had to get that theme song in there a little bit.
well done, Father.
Oh, shit. He was in that shitty-ass movie, John.
which one?
Buffalo 66.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, Encino Man is officially making his comeback to the silver screen.
Oh no.
Brenden Fraiser's Renaissance has fans celebrating Doom Patrol. There's been reports that he's officially been in another big Hollywood blockbuster movie. He's finally making a comeback.
Good.
After his
I liked his Netflix.
I don't
remember
like
we talked
Doom
about it.
Patrol. I tried watching it. It was pretty shitty.
Well, that was more of a way to introduce the fact that, you know, I really loved him in Mummy. I think he was in some great movies, and he, because of his personal Me Too movement and other stuff involving his life, he had issues and disappeared off the screen, and I'm just glad he's back. Because I don't like all of his movies, but there's none of his movies I dislike.
You like Monkey Bone, don't lie.
I don't know if I've seen Monkey Bone, actually.
We never did that one, did we?
No.
It was like his version of Cool World, but yeah, you should watch Monkey Bone.
Was it as perverted?
God, it's been so long since I've seen it. I think it probably was, yeah. I mean, just the title alone, Monkey Bone.
On Tuesday, it was announced that Brenden Fraiser has joined the cast of 2 upcoming films, Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, God.
And Max... Barkavo brothers... Shortly after the news.
That's what happens when we don't read these stories beforehand.
No, the problem is there's no subtext in how to actually pronounce the name. Looks like a Russian name. It's Barbakw. Shortly after news broke, fans took the social media celebrating the so-called Renaissance, a comeback of sorts for the actor who largely vanished from the public eye after reaching major success in the early 2000s. But fans are ecstatic for the beloved actor to be getting a renewed success. Fans are celebrating what they started Fraser's return to prominence, Doom Patrol.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad to see him back. I think we talked about it before, about the Netflix series, Day of the Condor, I believe, right? And how he was in that. And it, you know, was good to see him. I like him. I know for a lot of people, they're going to go, what happened to him when they see him?
Because he's in his 50s, isn't he?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and he's also gotten older, and he looks older, and he's not the young heartthrob that many of the women remember.
Well, like, I never thought he was a heartthrob, but I guess
Most
he
women
was like in the Mummy movies and stuff.
Right.
You never thought so back in Encino, man? He was
I thought nothing about him was cute ever at any point. He's 52.
He looks pretty good for 52. I'm curious.
What does 52 look like? Thanks. No,
Hollywood.
That was a long time ago.
If you take a look at like some of the Hollywood celebrities, like some of them without their makeup, they 52 saying 52 would be a nice thing. They
Well, it appears that he's led a fairly healthy life and hasn't had any major health issues and things like that. So good on him. I'm happy for him.
No,
Yeah.
I just think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I am curious to see if Johnny Depp will ever make a comeback.
Well, so there is that story, right? That he's claiming that he's being blackballed from Hollywood
Because of Amber Heard.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
some decent proof from what I've read about how she was beating him up. Reality is nobody will ever know.
Well, there's a lot of proof that she was the one doing a lot of the abusing herself. So, but
Was mutual abusing?
I think so. I think they were both really shitty people to each other, frankly.
Because he's a known, he's known to dabble in drugs and alcohol, and same thing for her. So, anytime you introduce,
I don't.
Shocking.
Yeah.
have you seen who? He used to hang out with the guy who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He definitely has had some experience with the
I
substances.
think Johnny's just misunderstood.
He's also close friends with Marilyn Manson, whom I used to love, now no longer love, but that could say you are who you hang with, right? After a while. So I don't know.
Possibly.
That could tell you something there too.
Well, Marilyn Manson isn't guilty until proven guilty, and that's just a matter of hours.
He's guilty and proven guilty in Heather's court of law. So
there you go.
I'm super curious on what's going to
He's
happen.
pretty
to that
much
too.
said that he's done it all.
Yeah.
Really?
He pretty much has said that he did everything that they claim he did.
It's also a fugitive from the law.
He turned himself in.
Yeah, but the point was he had to turn himself in because he ran. That makes you a fugitive.
Did he run, or was he hanging
He
upside down in his
did.
bat cave?
No, he ran.
Oh.
He was avoiding it.
Yeah.
That
Anyway,
whole
that-
thing is really disappointing.
That
to me.
usually puts the big sign out there that I'm guilty.
Running?
I'm running. But hey, who am I to judge?
Well, Tony Bennett is officially running away from his career via doctor's orders.
Oh, Tony.
The long-running, one of the most famous singers of American history is stepping back from concerts performing at the age of 95, which, by the way, singing at 95, good on you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Iconic.
So
for those young kids out there that are listening to this weird show.
Bennett,
looking him up,
who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2016, canceled a run of concerts planned for later this year and won't be returning to touring. His manager's son, Danny Bennett, told Variety in an interview, which, by the way, is even more amazing that with Alzheimer's can still sing. That's
actually the one thing they say that
they can do.
Alzheimer's, yep, exactly.
And he'll remember all the lyrics to all his old songs. It's just try to give him any new material, and he wouldn't be able to do it. So
I'm amazed anybody can remember any lines. Because I can't remember. I can't remember anything.
We know.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me anything we don't know.
James, you know too. Oh, wow. Okay.
So apparently,
I've noticed.
So Halo the TV series will show a side of Master Chief not seen in the games, which I'm assuming his face because. Halo series planned to premiere on Paramount Plus next year will offer a portrayal of Master Chief that people have not yet seen compared to what's been shown in video games. And through
Is this going to be a live action?
That's what I'm trying to actually see. I haven't heard anything if it's live. I'm assuming it's got to be because if they're saying a TV show, I don't see them now making a giant announcement for an animation.
Oh, I don't know. Animated anything is so popular right now. It could be.
I'm curious because I think they've kind of. I just don't think Halo has that power that it used to.
Not anymore.
You know, I think it was, what was it, the ODST trailer where they did live action?
Yes.
Commercials and little teasers and things. If they had ran a live action TV show or movie then, they would have broke the bank. Now, I don't know.
100%, especially if it was about ODST and Master Chief just made cameos here and there. I 100% agree because I'm going to buy the next game, but they just don't hold that. They don't have the same feeling, and I don't know really anybody who has that. But granted, everybody I know at this point is an old gamer.
You know, it's all been like taken over by Call of Duty. I mean, Halo was the pioneer of first-person shooters, and then, you know, and taking it to massive multiplayer online type of things, and then, you know, it kind of got taken over by Call of Duty, and now no one really cares much about Halo anymore.
Well, Mr. Stevens, some people were playing games that with multiplayer before it was popular.
But first-person shooters.
No, don't even go. Halo? No. What about Wolfenstein? Doom? Like, Halo.
They're reading me minor again.
As multiplayer online.
Y'all, we were playing.
Wolfenstein was multiplayer.
We were playing Doom via Novell Network back in the day. I mean, so this is a.
But to make it
real
for the masses.
Old nerds. Okay.
Oh, now he keeps putting more stipulations onto it. I see the way that works.
Per the masses, it became popular through Halo. It was nerds and geeks and dorks, beforehand.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take it.
Halo. To bring everyone into his Halo, and I was doing Counter-Strike way before Halo too. So.
God, I remember when that was a mod.
That's all right. I was doing Atari's Missile Command before all that.
And Pong.
Oh, well, you want to go way back.
Yeah, but were you doing that with people across the street from you, or were they coming over to your house?
Well, you know, as long as they kept the string and cups going, we were playing.
Two of Dad's friend in a cup.
Oh.
It was at the. It was
got the beep thing. Beep.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
That was bad.
It just came out.
You know, it was such a long time ago that when my dad lost,
that's bad too in itself. Good gosh.
And then I ate it. And then I threw it up again.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
It was such a long time ago. My dad turned to the guy who beat him and said, "Et tu, Brute?"
Yeah, right. So, anybody know what the best TV shows that lasted only one season are, according to some stupid website I looked at?
Probably involved what my sister just said.
So one of the websites I went to said the best TV shows that lasted only one season.
Earth 2.
Oh, I loved that one, but I think that was 2 seasons.
Yeah, so
that was one.
The first one from 1978 to 1979 is Battlestar Galactica, which is just amazing when you think about it, how popular it is in all kinds of culture areas and everything, how the Cylons became a name.
And don't forget, that was 72?
78.
78, that was the height, the 70s cheese.
It was,
that
Lauren Green was in it at that time, and it was really...
The voice of doom.
So, yeah, exactly. So the beauty of that was, at that time, I thought that was pretty cool, and I look back at it now, and it's like...
It's, I really like the series.
It's when they actually had storylines.
I still really like the original up until I heard the robotic dog was really a monkey in a robot suit. And I'm like, I heard that, I'm like, oh.
I thought it was a little person.
It was apparently a monkey.
Oh, God. Figures.
But I love the original. It's perfectly cheesy. It's
I like
that and
the
Buck Rogers.
newer...
Monkeys going to work.
Well, that Wrangler had to make money.
Jobs.
It's shameful to put a dog suit on a monkey, and you know it.
How do you know? Did you ask the monkey?
Did he care?
I know that all monkeys care about this kind of thing.
They want their cigarette breaks.
That's right. All right, next one, 1982, Police Squad. How many remember that?
Oh, God.
Was that was a comedy?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a comedy.
Should have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
So 1993, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
That show was awesome. It was starring the guy from it was the guy from Evil Dead. I just can't remember. Bruce Campbell. I think was in that one.
Well, he only got one season out of it. So 94 to 95, My So-Called Life.
I loved that one.
Geez.
I used to watch that one. Had Jared Leto and Claire Danes.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. I loved that one.
Again, another one that should have probably gotten another season, only got one. How about Freaks and Geeks? Never saw it. 1999 to 2000.
I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember ever
I
being
didn't
on.
watch it.
Okay, how about the Undeclared? 2001 to 2002. Never heard of it. I don't know.
Nope.
2001 to 2002. The Tick.
Oh, I love the Tick.
There's
The
been
Tick is amazing.
I think it's been versions of that on and off since like the early 90s.
Yeah,
I think.
There's a cartoon that was out. I don't know if it continued to be out just recently called The Tick. Firefly.
No, there's an Amazon show that they took over as far as The Tick.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I thought.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, and it wasn't animated; it was live action. But it's supposed to be coming out with another season or two.
Oh, well.
But
this was
Amazon, and they're kind of like,
yeah, you never know with them either. This was the 2001 to 2002 version. So 2002 to 2003, the one that's probably a heartbreak still to this day, Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I
Loved Firefly.
I felt that way
A lot.
until you
Nathan
started
Fillion.
hearing people talk about how big of a jerk Joss Whedon is.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting. Well, okay, this whole thing is a little tragic for me. Not that I shouldn't say that because they're actual people. Never mind. Okay, I really loved Buffy a lot, and I'm having a really hard time disliking Joss Whedon.
Okay,
Well,
what?
it's okay. You can dislike Josh Whedon and still like Buffy.
I'm gonna have to. I can't ever.
But you like
not
Firefly,
love Buffy.
too.
I loved Firefly.
See, didn't we all?
I loved Angel. I loved Dollhouse. I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which Joss had a lot to do with.
That's right.
I loved a lot of his stuff. So yeah.
I couldn't get into Dollhouse or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The first season of
Actually,
Agents of
Shields
S.H.I.E.L.D. I
was-
liked. The
it was
rest I
good.
couldn't get into.
I even like the rest of it, only because I like that.
The Ghost Rider part I dug because I've always liked the character.
See,
one
that was a
fine.
decent Ghost Rider. Now that was no Nick Cage. That
Yeah.
was 10 times better.
Exactly. Okay, how about 2002, 2003? Clone High. Is that a high school that has clones in it? I never saw it.
Apparently.
It sounds like a trauma film.
It does. Okay, 2005, 2006. Invasion. Well, see, that's why there were only one season. We can't remember. Here's another one. 2006, 2007.
Oh, wait.
What?
I think I did see Invasion now that you mention it.
Well, that word's been used. And
Yeah. Was that the one with the lizards and shit? The lizard people?
Wasn't that you're talking about?
maybe.
I don't know.
You're talking about V, aren't you?
That was
Oh,
V.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
V. Yeah, that's V.
For Victory Not Vendetta.
Yeah, that was another shitty show.
Yeah.
It didn't go very far.
V? Yeah. But it had at least
I tried getting into it.
I think it had 2 seasons. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, 2006, 2007. Never saw it. Okay, 2009, 2010, Flash Forward. Anybody heard of it?
Oh,
No.
yes. I did watch a couple episodes, and that could have been good.
Now, what was that? What was it about?
If that's the one I think it was like this guy had like the ability to travel in the future for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like a ripoff of another show, if that's the one I'm thinking of. There was another one, not quite like Sliders, but it kind of seemed like it had some of the Sliders.
Sliders.
Oh,
stuff in it.
Sliders, yeah.
Little sliders.
Interesting.
Shout out to
Jonathan
our
Rhys Davies. Oh no.
I was going to say our unfortunately no longer with us former co-host of Real Flicks Reviews, Jeff Michaels, was a huge fan of Sliders.
Oh no, this was a different one. Now I know. Yeah, so people black out and they awaken to having a short vision of their future. That's right. And there's certain people, they kind of like, so it's like they see the future and then they try to, it had potential, but it was just like,
Just didn't make
terrible. Yeah, it was just terribly put together. So
All right.
Kinda,
2010, Terriers. Was it about dogs?
Terriers?
Terriers. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
I've never heard of
I
that.
don't know. One season, that shows you why. Okay. 2012, 2013, Bunheads.
Bun?
Yeah. Obviously ahead of its time because John's almost got a bun head over here if you guys had television.
Man. Yeah.
All right. 2013 to 14, Almost Human.
Yes. Liked that one.
Like that one?
Which version?
Almost Human.
The 2013
the
Was
BBC
that the BBC or the American?
American.
There's two.
You guys are talking over each other. Can't do
Sorry.
that on radio. One at a time. Go ahead, James.
James?
Oh no, I was saying the same thing that they did.
Oh, okay.
That John did.
Ditto.
Yeah.
What was it?
American version.
Okay.
Yeah, the American version went to hell. The British version, I think, had a few seasons actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. 2013 to 2014, Trophy Wife. Okay, none of us watched that.
It got me
This
too.
sounds like reality TV shows that you're throwing out here.
That one definitely does.
It has to.
Okay, here's another one. 2014, Selfie. Good grief.
Selfie?
Yeah, Selfie.
Sounds like a game show.
So, so we'll move on. 2015 to 2016, The Grinder. Now, that was a military show, wasn't it? The Grinder?
Oh, I think it was.
Not sure.
I
Anyway.
don't think I watched it though.
I don't know. And then 2 more to go, 2016 to 2017, The Get Down. What? Never heard of it. Last one on my list, 2018, American Woman. I just hear that song every time I said it.
Yeah, and I'm hearing
Yeah.
the Lenny Kravitz one.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, anyway, so that was my list of the best TV shows that lasted only 1 season.
So,
Good list.
Was that your list or was that somebody else's
Nah,
list?
I ripped somebody else off.
So there's a
I
list.
didn't have time to compile this. Are you
I
kidding
was
me?
going to say, because you said my list, and I was like, wait, did you just say
Hey,
that it wasn't
I'm the one
yours?
who's reading it, all right? It's my list.
Okay, so can we get Jonathan's panties in a bunch now?
Sure.
They're already
Let's go
there. You
for
should
it.
see his face.
All right, John. So did you hear that your suspenseful movie that you're so excited about is doing a different...
Let me guess. Doom.
Dune.
Yes.
Doom. Is doing
I'll
what?
pronounce it the way I want to, the way it's spelled. Go ahead.
John can fix whatever the hell this is. Timothy
Chalamet.
Whatever.
Chalamet.
Heather can, because John can't pronounce it, is going to be replaced as the lead by Zendaya in Dune 2. So he's going to do a second one.
So they're already working on the
And they're
sequel,
changing the lead characters.
and the lead characters
So
are
I'm
all
assuming it's
changing.
going to be Children of Dune?
It'll go direct to tape.
It might have to, frankly.
Not Blu-ray.
I'd be fine if it did, frankly. I loved Lynch's Dune. Well, I love the book. The first book. I haven't read any of the other books. But Lynch's Dune is awesome, and if another one didn't exist, I'd be okay with that.
As long as, as far as the new one, as long as it's better than the Sci-Fi Channel's one, that's all you have to aim for. Is
that
be
was
better
so
than that.
terrible.
How hard can that be, though?
To get better
It's
than that, not
obviously
much.
very hard.
Have you seen some of the movies they've made in the last 5 years? It's
Well, I'll say this. Have you read the books, James? Because it's kind of complicated. There's a lot of...
I never learned to read.
Right.
We can tell.
I forgot about that. John tried to remind me a few minutes ago.
I bought him
Okay.
Don't forget, James can't read.
I bought him Hooked on Phonics one year.
Don't bring up books.
No, I've never gotten around to being that bored to read Dune.
Dune is a hard read. It's a good book.
Difficult
It's a good read.
Put me to sleep.
It's not that. It's only the first
again.
It's only the first 100 pages that are a little rough. Otherwise, and it's not even that rough. It's good.
The next 8,000 pages are okay, right?
No, the first book's only like 800 pages.
As long as you stay away from any of the books that Frank Herbert's son wrote, you'll be fine. Because the rest of them, the stuff his son has been involved with, have been cash grabs, and everybody says they're awful. So I found another list for 30 worst TV shows of the 90s, and apparently there was an Uncle Buck TV show.
Uncle Buck. Well, let's read the list. Go. You don't have to read all 30 of them, but give us a few because that's always fun.
Okay, well, Jerry Springer Show.
Oh, God.
Which
so terrible.
It is a waste. Go ahead.
This is, by the way, the 30 worst TV shows of the 90s.
I don't know how anybody watches that show. It's still on.
So this is just the worst, because I was thinking like we were still on one season.
No, this is just the worst. I'm done with my story.
This is what it says.
I get no respect.
Okay, everybody just stop and give Dad a moment of silence to honor and respect him. Okay.
And talk about honor and respect. We're going to honor and respect our sponsor. We'll be back. Today's show is brought to you by Audacity. The game where dignity is overrated. Go to ODDASSITY.com. That's ODDASSITY.com. Pick up a card game from this website or selected stores. That's Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. And do me a favor, make sure you go to Audacity.com and check out where you can buy their game, because they're adding stores all the time.
Do it.
So this is what it says for Springer. It says, it's no joke. The viewers love consuming trashy content like it's a 4-course meal. And the Jerry Springer Show is a prime example. A show deemed as controversial by the contemporary viewing. It was... Okay. You're watching trashy people.
It's like watching a car accident.
Yeah.
It's trashy people for trashy people.
So Walker...
And it was only good for like the first year or two it was on. And then after that, it was the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So Walker, Texas Ranger.
I loved Walker, Texas Ranger.
And
it's saying it's the worst. There's something wrong with these people. Walker was
that.
good.
The funniest thing is the guy.
This list is shit.
This list says Walker, Texas Ranger served up some of the fakest roundhouse kicks, which is funny considering he's an undefeated karate champion. He retired unbeaten. Uncle Buck, Dharma and Greg, which was hilarious.
That was a good one.
Oh, God, I forgot
that
about
was fun,
Dharma and
Greg.
Greg.
I like that.
That was a good one.
What's her name? I forgot what her name was.
Elfman.
Jenna Elfman.
Jenna Elfman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was really good.
And she's in Fear the Walking Dead now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And Caroline in the City, which I liked.
I liked that as well.
That was Ray, right? Caroline Ray?
Yeah. No, Caroline...
All right.
No, it wasn't Caroline Ray, because the Caroline Ray was in the show with Melissa Joan Hart. She was
Oh yeah.
I just can't remember.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm blowing in on that one too.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
Sabrina.
The Teenage Witch. Yeah.
That's right.
Smart Guy, which is a show I've never heard of.
Same.
There's a new movie out called Smart Guy.
Sequest, which I love.
Sequest DSV.
I love Sequest. It's still one of my favorite shows.
It was fun.
It's 90s cheese.
It is.
Saved by the Bell spinoffs. I'll have to admit, there's never been a good Saved by the Bell spinoff.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember watching a spinoff of Saved by the Bell.
They existed. I never watched them though.
So apparently there was a Clueless TV show, which I'm unaware
in
of.
the 90s?
Yes, I did know about that. Yes.
So
that had to be late 90s, right?
Spinoff of the cult classic film starring Alicia Silverstone, Clueless series paled terribly in comparison. Perhaps the show could have taken off its Silverstone, stood by her role, but her role was reprised by Rachel Blanchard, while the majority of the cast decided to stick with the show. Step by Step. That was a TGIF. I love that.
Yes, I loved Step by Step.
That was a great show.
We always watched all the TGIF shows.
Veronica's Closet.
Oh, God.
There's like a roaming xylophone.
There is. Sorry about that.
Veronica's Closet, which I have never heard of.
It sounds familiar, but I don't.
It does sound familiar, but I couldn't tell you either.
The show presented a promising concept redemption for newly single Ronnie after she left behind a struggling marriage. Viewers are hungry to watch Ronnie's career pursuits as a successful business owner despite and desperately romantic. Harry and the Hendersons. Okay. Suddenly Susan.
God.
Oh, yeah, I remember Suddenly.
I don't remember that being bad. Sweet Valley High. No. Sabrina the Animated Series. How can you crap on a cartoon? It's not the audience. That was children.
There's plenty of cartoons that are crap.
Yeah, but there's usually let's see, George, Ferris Bueller, Cop Rock, never heard of.
There was a Ferris Bueller TV show?
Apparently. The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer?
No clue.
Unhappily Ever After, Teen Angel. Oh boy.
Wait a minute. You mean Unhappily Ever After, the one with Bobcat Goldthwait? That was the wannabe Married with Children.
That was the one with the rabbit, yeah.
That was one of the worst shows of the 90s?
According to this, I always thought it was hilarious.
Wow, yeah, this list is completely terrible.
I'm surprised there's nothing with Pauly Shore in this list.
It's got to be.
I don't think he had a TV
That's a good
show,
point.
did he?
So here's Homeboys in Outer Space.
He did have a TV.
Homeboys in Outer Space with an average Rotten Tomato rating of 29 is another one-season wonder. I'm sure you can guess just by the title. The series wasn't incredibly popular. This sci-fi comedy promised amusing and just good enough for mindless watching, but the overall cheesiness quickly killed the show. I've never heard of this one.
I haven't either.
Baby Talk, City Guys, Herman's Head, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. That was a good show.
I loved Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
And a TJF alum.
They call it one of the worst?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, my God. Pauly Shore did have a TV show.
Really?
Yeah, so it aired from March 3rd until April 7th, 1997. It was
Oh, my God.
5 episodes.
Oh, boy.
I loved Pauly Shore.
Whatever happened to Pauly
I
Shore?
loved him so much. I always thought he was so funny.
Oh my God, that's so terrible. He had a show that they didn't even let finish.
RoboCop 3 was in longer than the show was on. Did you know his mom, Mitzi Shore, ran the Comedy Store up until the day she died?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is kind of not the kind of figured out where he got his kind of comedy.
Where's
from.
Pauly now?
Las Vegas.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Is he doing
he's
on a strip somewhere?
He lives in Las Vegas, according to the Joe Rogan podcast. Is a guy who was, a major cult icon back in the 90s. I'm surprised he didn't really go any farther after that.
Well, I know that you and I loved him a lot. Like, we would watch all his, like...
Biodome I can't stand.
Even Biodome, which was super stupid, but... He was just funny. I don't know.
My favorite one of all time was that he was doing his weasel bit and there was a country girl and they were in college together. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of that movie.
What about the one where he has to like go into the army or something?
Oh, In the Army Now.
Yeah, I loved that one.
Yeah, with the chick who was in Tank Girl.
Yes, Lori Petty.
Yes. That was hilarious. Oh, and...
Is there another one that hasn't done much?
She was in Orange is the New Black. She played a really good role in that show.
Glad that movie didn't ruin her.
Yeah, she played, I think, Lolly. I think that was her character's name.
No, if it didn't kill Andy Dick's career, it definitely didn't. And that guy's been...
That's true.
He's been in career suicide since the day his career started.
When he started with it, yeah. That's true.
He's he is in Las Vegas, and apparently he's doing YouTube videos after his mom's death. So he's not really doing much except for kind of messing around on YouTube, apparently.
Okay.
You know,
well,
good for
once
him.
he's hanging in there, that's good.
Yeah.
Son-in-Law. That was the movie I was thinking of.
Yep, I love Son-in-Law. That's a good one.
I didn't realize he's been in quite a
done a
number
lot.
of
Oh, yeah.
movies.
He's done.
Oh, he has done a lot of stuff, and I always thought he was funny, despite people not liking him.
Yeah.
His act, that what would he call it, the weasel thing, after a while it kind of, it went its course.
Yeah, but
As everything does,
that's
yeah.
right.
But Andrew Dice Clay is still doing his Diceman act years, so.
Yeah, but not like it used to be. That act has been way toned down. He's faced too many lawsuits. I mean, come on.
I just like the bits for the rhyming. Everything else you can skip.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, he just looks at you and you feel wronged. So,
That's hilarious. Oh, I just found out that one of Batman's kid sidekicks is officially a member of the LGBT community.
Robin is bisexual.
Oh,
And nobody is surprised.
no?
I
know,
didn't really
wear those-
think about it either way, to be honest.
Well, to wear those colors and those tights makes perfect sense.
Just because you wear colored tights and tights with
Doesn't
colors
mean-
and colors
No?
doesn't mean
Oh, okay.
anything.
Keep educating
What
me.
if you're hanging?
I'm an old guy.
What if
remember?
you're hanging around with with an old guy who's also wearing tights?
Well, then you're super gay. I mean, is that what you want me to say? I don't know.
Oh, Batman.
It means nothing.
So I'm kind of surprised that A, it didn't happen sooner, but B, that's a pretty big thing. Batman's considered one of the biggest comic books out there.
Yeah.
So that kind of surprised me when I ran across it.
I was watching a Graham Norton show, not the plug Graham Norton, but I love his show. And they had Ben Affleck on, and he was talking about, he was...
Oh, yeah, he played Batman.
yeah, well, they both did. Christian Bale.
Shit, Batman. Christian Bale was awesome.
So anyway, they were. He was talking about. He took his daughter to a costume shop for Halloween, and he was in the shop, and then all of a sudden he hears this British accent behind him, and it was Christian Bale, and so they got talking, and Christian Bale said, "Whatever we do, I can't do a British accent, so I won't even try." He says, "Whatever we do, make sure they put a zipper in that costume. I did all these years of that show, and there's no zipper in that costume."
Oh, to whip it out to go with that.
Yeah, usually,
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's famous for saying when he played that bat suit that a 6-year-old girl could kick your ass when you're wearing that
couldn't move
that outfit.
Yeah, it's pretty
You're
restricted.
probably just like...
yeah, a robot. To make it look good, they have to really work at it.
It's funny too because that's not the first time I've heard that type of comment like that in the. Oh gosh, what is it? The Watchmen. One of the ladies who played one of the superheroes in The Watchmen had the same comment about how they bolt this thing on you, and you're like, when you have to go, it's
like good luck.
Yeah.
Don't have anything to drink before you get into this costume.
There's an interview talking about her bathroom habits, and she's like, sorry.
Like the TV series?
No,
Or
the actual movie.
The movie.
I wish I remembered the character's name. She was like the main female lead. I just don't remember her character name.
I know in the TV series it was, what was her, the nun, something nun in the HBO TV series. Did you see that, the series? Anybody?
I did.
Watchmen series?
I didn't watch the last 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
What a bizarre series. But anyway.
But I thought it was really great.
You know, I'm hoping now that they brought that, I'm hoping they bring like V for Vendetta. I think that would be a great TV show, and I might actually watch it, considering how much I loved the movie.
I guess it could go both ways, though, right? Is there enough content to make an entire series out of it? I don't know.
There's a lot of very creative writers out there. I bet they could.
Right. Well, and it is also based off of some actual history, so I suppose,
I bet you
it's
could.
possible. Yeah.
As long as you don't get the writers from Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Well,
that
they
just
did
means
pretty
the
good.
ending would be bad. Everything else would be fine.
My
just don't do an ending.
My favorite thing is the guy who wrote it. Martin's like, I promise the ending of the book will be better, and all his fans are like, prove it.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
And then he got signed. There's a prequel to that, and I swear somewhere the the little girl who was the assassin, I keep hearing rumors about they're going to make a movie about her or a show about her. I don't know if it's true or
Arya?
not. Yeah.
Stark?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because they had prequels in mind, and I guess those got like that.
Back.
That's like it's completely shut. The idea is like dunzo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
They're supposed to be doing the Valerian history is what they're supposed to be doing, and they supposedly started filming on it. So
now, do you guys know enough about that? Because I've heard people comparing the book to like Lord of the Rings with the amount of history written, etc.
It's not the same thing.
Well, I meant this like the same.
Keep telling you that.
Well, I meant like as far as the amount of like backstory, because Tolkien basically wrote a backstory, and then has a story that goes around that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the Silmarillion, like that's like your Lord of the Rings Bible to guide you through all the shit in that universe.
That's what the history of Westeros is supposed to be. So there is another book that's supposed to be like that, but it's not as thick as, and there's not as much in it as the Silmarillion. So
okay, well that's what I was always wondering, because I know Jeff Michael also used to say, was it there was another book series, and the name's escaping me, like The Wheel of Time. He said was another one like Tolkien's writing but better, and I could never get into it.
yeah, I think I have the first Wheel of Time book, and I never finished it.
I'm so picky when it comes to books, so I have the first one somewhere digitally, and I just could not get into it.
I'm picky about sci-fi fantasy stuff, but Dresden Files for sure are my favorite sci-fi fantasy. Or anything Jim Butcher for the audience out there that just
I think the last sci-fi book I read was R.A. Silvadori. Was his Drizzt, I think, was the last real books I read. Anybody want to see The Rock's Jungle Cruise movie?
Dad saw it.
Saw it.
How is it?
It's a Disney movie.
So that could be something like a Cruel World type of movie, or like Deadpool, or it could be Fantasia, or that's a wide swatch.
It is now, that's for sure.
Family-oriented movie. So I mean, it had moments, like every movie, I guess. I mean, it was interesting. One thing is that part of it, if you hadn't been to Disneyland and actually ridden on the Jungle Cruise, a little bit of it at the beginning you wouldn't even understand.
Is it not there anymore? The Jungle Cruise?
Well, I know that it was being shut down to be fixed or something.
So what they did is they removed the natives in the ride. So if y'all haven't been there or you don't know it, part of the shtick of the ride was there's these very stereotypical, especially for the time period, racist characters of natives, had the bumps to the nose, etc.
Yeah.
And Disney said, basically they're going to remove it, not culture appropriate, etc., etc. And I know that's one of the things they moved. But they revamp all of their rides.
Interesting, though, they had natives and stereotypical natives in this movie. However, they were all like from Brooklyn or something. It was an interesting show.
I want to see it now, and the natives are going, hey!
It was all right. I mean, it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It was a good movie, and it's a great family movie. So there's that.
I'm just looking for fun movies at this point because I'm so over.
I think
the world right now is drama filled.
Families with probably not too much preteens, but tweens somewhere in there would be probably good with it. Some of it you'd have to explain to younger kids, but isn't that true with almost every movie?
This is what racism looks like.
but anyway, so yeah.
You're gonna have to explain that to your children anyway.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Unfortunately.
Well, they threw a little curve in there
these days.
That Dwayne Johnson is actually a Spaniard.
What?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I know.
Spoiler.
But there's a spoiler for you because you got to understand his story. So I could completely ruin it for all of the guys and give that one secret away, which I gave half of it away.
So Splash Mountain, one of Disney's famous.
John, you have when Dad says something, you have to respond
it's fine.
Like, this is how communication goes.
I was
Person A says blah, 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 and he had a question mark, and then you are supposed to respond with
I did it on purpose so it act like he was gonna
segue next.
He was gonna give away the ending, and I was trying to cut away from it.
No. Go ahead. Next. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
I was just
going to
talk about how Disney's Splash Mountain is no longer racist, and they're actually doing a fitting, an actual theme. I think it'll be kind of cool. It's the Princess and the Frog.
Ooh.
Even though I'm a giant fan of the Zippity Doodah, but
which is incredibly problematic.
Yeah. The most amazing thing about Splash Mountain is nobody knew what the source was, apparently, until a couple of years ago.
Well, we did, though.
Oh, yeah.
We always knew. But no, I'm glad that Disney is fixing
Well,
that.
we were actually technically the last generation to see it in theaters. After Songs of the South, if you aren't familiar with it and haven't heard me talk about it, Disney was sued, and basically in America, Disney basically said no more, and slowly worldwide they were starting to remove it from circulation. So they're redoing it as Princess and the Frog, which I actually thought that's a theme that'll work well for the ride.
I think it's a cute idea. Much better idea.
So The Rock's a Spaniard.
Hey, I'm not saying I neither.
He is.
I will not deny or. Never mind. No, I didn't say anything, but yeah, spoiler.
You didn't say what?
Spoiler. That's only half the spoiler. There's more, but I won't give the rest away in case people want to go to see Jungle Cruise.
Or you can rent it from Disney Plus, $30.
That is so much money. I'm sorry. If you're going to pay that much money, you better go to the theater.
So
have some popcorn, like make it a full experience.
Popcorn. So I do know somebody who actually did that once, bought the Disney thing, and she said you get it full access to it. Once it's yours, I'm assuming it's always yours. She said you can go back and watch it anytime, which is one of my...
I thought it was a 1 year limit.
Oh, really?
I thought so, yeah.
I'll have to look it up because she did it this year. So, but I thought that was cool. If you're buying it for a year, or if you get it in perpetuity, it's like, that's worth the $30. Or depending on the movie, I still might do it, like with the Dune or Ghostbusters, because it's such content that I'm a fan of, I would do it.
So I will say another comment about the Jungle Cruise is if you get an opportunity to see it in 3D, that's the way I would see it. For those of us that see 3D.
I get nauseous in 3D,
This movie would be good for that. But anyway, didn't see it in 3D. Did see it in giant screen. But anyway.
You know, I actually like, so we were talking about, was it last week, the week before that? I think we were talking about Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm. Black Widow.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, because they're the Disney suit, about how she didn't get a whole lot of money. And I was wondering if it would be...
She got plenty of money. She just didn't get any money out of streaming.
Yeah, well, here's my thought. I wonder if it would be better for them to have the first couple of weeks as box office and then do that special deal.
So pre-COVID... pre-pandemic, that was the model that they were going for. It was going to be released in theaters first, because there's this whole thing with the theater owners, the movie theater owners, and the whole part of them losing revenue because of streaming at the same time. So there was a lawsuit brought by them, their association, whichever it may be, and so the talk was that they were going to go ahead and for in some cases even up to a month first. And then they were going to go ahead with streaming. So, but once the pandemic hit and everybody wasn't going to the movie theaters to try to get movies out, they felt that the only way they were going to be able to do that would be to streaming. So that's why that case has changed. But if and when we ever get ourselves out of this pandemic, maybe things will go back.
See, I don't think Ryan and I have actually gotten in this argument multiple times. I think theaters are going to be in decline. Because the technology is there now where you have a cinema experience. I'm not a fan of that, by the way. I actually agree with Tarantino on that. That now that it's going to be you're going to have to go out and seek it, because everybody has the 4K TVs, 8K TVs are coming out at some point. 5.1 surround sound systems are incredibly cheap.
My whole thing with going to the movies is the whole experience and the large screens. And you're never going to duplicate that by streaming. I'm sorry. Even if you build one of your small movie theaters, cinematic things in your home and kind of make a look out, yeah, you can simulate it. Just sitting in your front room watching TV?
I don't think anybody... I think the communal experience has kind of given away a little bit more to that everybody's busy, everybody's ADD. I think the people like you and me and Heather and James who want to sit down and see it will still go to the theaters. But I think because of the way life is now and everybody's doing 7 things at once. I mean, even like music is now, it used to be appointment when you would sit down and listen to your album. Now it's and that's what movies are. So I think it's just the way of things go.
Yeah, I understand entirely. And as my aging group ages out and your guys' group comes in next, I think the whole opportunity behind for the grandkids, the great-great-grandkids at that stage, the whole idea of going to a movie is going to seem a bit foreign to them. They're not going to quite understand it as much because everything is streaming and home and, uber large TVs.
It's cheaper, too, because going to the theaters is not cheap.
Well, if you're streaming the movie for $30, I paid $9 per ticket. See it at giant screen. So
$9 plus popcorn plus drinks.
If you want to, yeah, absolutely. I don't, sure. So I think if you weigh it out, yeah. I mean, in a long time run, especially if you're going to see it multiple times.
Yeah, but that's only for a year. So you pay $30 a year for one movie.
So it is a year.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if that's a year, that's only a year. You might as well just wait and buy the movie. Yeah.
Can you even? Is Blu-ray a thing anymore?
Oh, no. Yeah, it is.
So what it is Blu-ray is still, it's kind of like what happened to Laserdisc. Back when VHS was still on, Laserdisc never went away because it was still a higher quality experience.
It was. We had one.
And so
it was fantastic.
And Laserdisc didn't really go away until DVDs came into play, really. And so 4K discs are HD, was it? There's a word for it, and I don't remember. So 4K is still around and coming, and more stuff are coming 4K. Criterion Collection is actually releasing 4K movies now, and so Blu-rays are still a thing. So it's
but for how long? I mean, if everything turns into streaming, I think that's going to go away too.
I think there might be less, but I think there's still going to be because people like to collect.
You know what?
And there's people like me and Heather who are still like, if we're going to buy something, we want the physical copy because one of the major issues with anything that's digital is it's amazing how all these companies have a way to completely remove your content from your machine because you're
Yeah, one of the things I always said too, there are times where my connectivity to the internet may not be there or may not be great enough to stream. And so whatever it may be, there's so many of us that are rural to a degree. Yeah. And so that's also an issue where it's much simpler just to throw in a DVD and watch it that way. Understood. But I think as time goes on, I think that's the whole idea. See, I think the whole idea of collecting DVDs or whatever started back from the days that we were collecting records, right? We started way back, and I mean, it goes way back into the 20s and 30s, and you started building up your collection, your album collection, and it kept getting larger and larger, and you kept updating. But, it went from 78 to 33s to 45s. I mean,
what was your first Edison disc?
But anyway, the point is that I was getting at is that we did collect movies. I collected music, like you guys are more into collecting movies.
I collected music.
You did too.
I had like at least 1,000, and then got rid of a ton just recently. Yeah. So I collected a lot of music. I had like 6 full 40-ground garbage bags full of DVDs. I mean CDs.
Wow.
I still
have all my DVDs, and I'll at some point I'll thin them down. But that's just a cycle. It's like, okay, I want to get rid of this, and this, and I curate it a little bit. I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think Heather's right. Y'all can mark that in history. The fact that
holy shit.
The fact that it's going to be
time 7:01 p.m. date. Monday, August 16th, 2021.
Is the fact I don't think it's never going to go away. It's just going to be that limited boutique experience. Like going to the theaters eventually is going to be a boutique. Tarantino, who I'm a fan of, for buying theaters and getting rid of all the digital and doing old school film, I think it's what it's going to be. Like records are making a comeback. Records have officially sold more than CDs. Tapes making a comeback. So I think what it is people who want that
retro experience,
because it's appointment viewing, it's appointment listening, it's Records, I love records because you can't skip to your favorite song unless somehow you found the right effing groove.
Well, that's why you knew the whole album.
Yeah.
Was that, you put it on a record, you're going to play, but unless you're right, you want to keep dropping the head on different tracks. But, the fact is that when we bought an album, we learned to like the whole album, not just, the first couple of cuts. So.
But that was also when the whole album was the experience. Now they do, okay, there's a couple of good songs, we'll throw some trash on there. Mm-hmm. And it's not uncommon now.
Well, yeah, you got to fill up the content space. Right,
So,
you got so much space, you got to fill it up.
So I hope it'll never go away. I mean, it's the case for everything. VHS went away. CDs and DVDs are eventually go away. I'm just going to be bummed when digital media is the order of the day because you don't own any of it, especially with DRM. It can disappear. Apple can remove stuff from your phone and you'll never get it again.
Well, it's like everybody's burning CDs or DVDs and then think, oh, great, I've got it. Just wait 10 years from now. That won't be readable because it's a chemical reaction. Yeah. It's not an actual stamped deal with DVDs or CDs.
Well, even DVDs go bad. They do have bit rot.
So, yeah, any kind of sun exposure to them ruins them just terribly, too. So, anyway, there is that. Well, a little bit of knowledge.
Do you want to keep up to date on the maddest of the mad at the MadTrio podcast? Check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or go to themadtrio.com.
On the Old Guy Tech channel.
So, does anybody have any final thoughts?
I want to thank our special guest today for coming in studio with us, and that's Heather.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, you're welcome, James.
Not you fool. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's always fun having you here.
James is
welcome,
special.
Heather.
Thanks, James.
That's enough out of you, John.
Yeah.
Shut up, John.
Good show. Thanks. Hopefully we get some listeners liking it. Like us, share us, get us sponsors,
and don't forget to go over go over to Audacity.com. Like them on all the social media. They're a great group of folks. And shout out to Miss Audacity herself,
Melanie.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pariah, the fat man, the old guy,
Heather,
and Heather.
As always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.